So hello everyone, thank you for joining us today at our new release webinar. I'm Renata Kalniūnienė, Marketing Project Manager at MedDream. And these webinars are being recorded. Who could not attend and registered will receive a video recording afterwards in a few days. I would like to present our speakers. This is Raimundas Mikalauskas, product owner at MedDream. He's going to present and show you the new features and enhancements, what we have in this version. And also today we have PD Dr. Joshua Gawlitza, Chief Medical Officer at synava. He's going to take care of live demo part and show you in live the most important new features we have today. And so now I'm passing the share and presentation to Raimundas. And also, please, if you have questions, write them in the question and answer section. So Raimundas, we see your screen. I'm passing the word to you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our presentation. Today, I'm excited to present the latest MedDream 8.9.0 version. I will walk you through the key changes, the new features, and the improved we have made. At the end of the presentation, as Renata mentioned, I'll be happy to answer to all your questions. So let's get started. As seen on the screen, we make a very big job creating more than 10 new features, more than 15 improvements. So let's start from the first one. MedDream, from the latest version, starts to have a new feature, pathology support. Previously, we showed it as multi-frames. Now we're showing it as real pathology viewer. So in top new bar, we see the full big pathology picture. It is loaded by default to the viewport. In the bottom left corner, we see the boundary. Oh, sorry. Move it. The boundary of a whole study to see, and you can zoom, pan, and navigate to the place where the pathology needs some attention. So this is the first initial version. In the future, we are planning to add more features, but now I'm happy that we start showing it and analyzing what client needs the most. A pixel interpolation. So it is used to improve image rendering quality when scaling the image. So we have 5 possibilities to change them in a UI. So linear, bicubic, bicubic spline, linear with GLIP, and Lankos. By default is bicubic spline, but user can change, and this method will be saved to his local storage, and when next time the user will open the study, this interpolation will be used. Important thing is that the smooth, when it works, when the smooth is enabled. Otherwise, we are using browser interpolation. So it's important thing. If smooth is enabled, we can have different interpolation and see different sharpness methods. Okay, let's go. Next one, an SCG print. So we implemented new filters for noise, filtering the noise and printing the template. In the template, we can have patient information, some other stuff which is taken from the DICOM information. And we have in the settings, we have some settings what could be set. A large grid, print viewport as shown, high quality. We can set the date and time format and observation if it's needed. If you, for example, don't want to see month number, we can add observation, and we see January, February, March, April, and other things. In the template, the users can edit or what he want to add or to see some logos or different things. New measurement, velocity. So on the click in the measurements, we have a new measurement velocity. Wait a second, sorry. Jumped to measure the blood ejection velocity at the point. It's used to use in ultrasounds. Previously, we have this VTE measurement when you need to draw all the wave, and when you see some measurements counted there, now we have a point for that functionality. Missed MPR oblique. From this version, we can save MPR reconstructions in a study as a new series. So, for example, we are doing reconstruction, and each reconstruction could be saved as separate series, and then can be viewed. So it's new functionality, and hope it will work for everybody. We have old technology for MPR with orthogonal, so we decided to have the same layouts as the old one has. So this missed orthogonal MPR view is the real scanned information, and then two reconstructions. We can change MIP, average, or other values, and to see as the old one functionality. In missed oblique functionality, all viewports are synchronized. So if I zoom one, everybody is zoomed. So we got a request that some clients needs to, for example, not to zoom, to deactivate zoom for one of the reconstructions or for one of the viewports. So, for example, I deactivated in this example the main created viewport, and others are zoomed, and then I can go through all the places and to see. Mammography MPR. We added 3D cube for viewed slices. The thickness and the position of a rendered image is also visualized in a cube that is displayed in the corner of the viewport. And if you open a few mammographies and creating these MIPs, mammography MPRs, you want to synchronize the MIP value. So we created possibility to synchronize or desynchronize it. By default, it is not synchronized. But if a user selects to synchronize it, it will be stored in local storage, and the next time it will be automatically synchronized. Zoom and Teams functionality in MedDream. We have decided to integrate through plugin mechanism possibility to make share the screen and record it through these platforms. So even we have WebEx meeting, so you can select through plugin that you want to arrange a meeting, share with your users, and the users will see the screen which you are sharing. And you can record it, the sound is moved. Curved MPR. We updated the curved MPR workflow for users when you're activating in 3D view, when you're creating missed MPR. In 3D view, you can activate curved MPR, and then we display information how to edit it, how to create it, and what to do with it. Earlier, it was a bit difficult to find, and here is jump back to 3D view if it's necessary. So in here, we see that I'm activating, I see what I can do, I'm putting points, and then double click finishes, and we see straightened view of a curved MPR. I can rotate it, zoom it, and set other things. Spine labeling. We improved it. If it's possible, we show if the user draws, puts some dots for spine labeling. We're showing in all related views, reconstructed views, and when the user is moving, the dot becoming green or blue or red if it's far away, or you're coming closer to it. and even more in the future. We are planning to do a more adaptive spine labeling window to use it more, to delete, to add, but it's in the future. Let's stop it. We got some questions about measurements when if user wants to put a measurement very close to each other. We had some limitations on it. Now we expanded it, and you can make a very, very tiny, small measurement, not zooming the window. This is one changes to all the measurements. When Cinemode, previously we preloaded all the study and then started showing Cinemode. Now the system starts Cinemode at the moment when you start play, even if not all the studies preloaded. So the user can faster see the results of the Cinemode and what's shown. We improved quite and further working on hanging protocols. We have dedicated HP for comparison study, HP selection on drop studies, or operator, possibility to create PET MPR. I will not go deeper to hanging protocols. It need different learnings deeper. So we see a PET possibility, or operator. Segmentation. We improved the UX design. We expanded some functionality to the top that user do not push it by mistake. Copy, paste, delete, you're selecting segmentation and doing these steps in the top, so we can have a smaller window. And then we created possibility to set segmentations names, or to search for these created segmentations, and even set a color through communication IP. Forward functionality, big changes to it. Previously, we could forward only the whole study to the needed destination. Now we can select the study, as previously. Now I can select some series which I want to forward to another machine, or to select some intervals from the selected series. It means that I can send from 1 to 10 instance, then 13, and the last 10 or 25 or 26. So it's big improvement to forward functionality. Shortcuts. So we improved them to work with Windows and MacOS systems, because as you know, MacOS has some limitations on the buttons and other things, so now we expanded the functionality and cover both operating systems. We created a new Chrome plugin version. We got some requests that users who was working with multi-monitors, they want to work in full screen mode, but previously 5.6 version, Chrome was not supporting it. If you're going to full screen, it jumped to one monitor. So from new Chrome extension beta 6 version, we support in full screen for multi-monitor. So please try it and give us a feedback. Communication IP was improved. So we added method to pan. So the users who's loading the study with communication IP to viewer, we can pan to left to right, move a little bit or whatever we want to do. And of course, with segmentations, changes, set the color, set the name, and even predefine which default tool should be assigned to that segmentation. Okay, so we went through a big list of changes, what I have not mentioned or not shown in screenshots. So we added new pathology modality to the filter in the search window, NSR. Then we created possibility to hide user information if it's not necessary for the system. It could be configured and hidden, not to show if it's token integration and it's always the same user, so perhaps it's not so important to see it. We updated management endpoint to return connected users information, and for AWS, we expanded to pass user roles and accessible storage to the MedDream and to open the needed study from needed storage packs. Then we improved about study caching mechanism. We had some issues with mouse scrolling when some images was corrupted. So we improved this functionality, and if you with mouse scroll, we are jumping to corrupted image. The system tries to go to next one, to next one, to next one. Of course, if 4 or 5 instances are corrupted, so then we stuck, but at least the system tries to move to the correct study. Reference line in the previous version 8.8.0, we implemented to show the beginning and the ending of reference line, but we got some requests that is it possible to turn it off? So from this version, we improved it, and it's possible to disable showing first and last image reference line. When we are showing ultrasounds, the horizontal tab was improved as it took some place of a viewport, and sometimes image was the end of the image was hidden. So now it prevents to hide something from a viewport. It is always where place is reserved. Info labels, if you have a big monitors, info labels was too small, so now we improved them, and the size is adjusted according to the size of a monitor. If you have very small viewports, then info labels will be hidden on the 3 dots. And we got some requests that we want to see in info labels in milliseconds, so it was expanded with functionality that was missing. Workspace saving functionality. In the previous version, we implemented workspace saving functionality, but it was not informing when the workspace was loaded. So in this version, we added this functionality, and in the menu and in the information part, the user gets information that the saved workspace was loaded. We worked with color palettes. We added a few new ones to default configuration. So if you update, please check it and try to use all of them which are available in the system. We added for PT studies modalities, custom window can be set in SUV, not in width and length. So it's a new functionality. We improved the design of patient history and patient study window. Previously, if you're looking in a couple of studies and you have some mistakes in a patient name or surname, we are showing 10 or 3 or 4 patient possible informations. Now we are shrinking to 1, and when later if it's needed, it can be expanded. We a bit improved rebranding functionality. It's to easy rebrand the system. We had some bug with quadrant zoom with multi-monitors. We fixed it. Through communication API, we added extra data for volume and cardiac volume measurements. It's only through communication API. And of course, updated dependencies and third-party libraries. So that's all from me now. Please, Joshua, now it's your turn to show it in real life.
Awesome, Raimundas. Thank you so much. Basically, we will not go into every technical detail that Raimundas talked about and watch everything, because I think it's most interesting for you to see what your customers will finally do with it. And I think there are small, really, really nice changes, or from a technical perspective, even major changes that make it really smooth now to work with the MedDream. So. If I here go, for example, in the viewer, you can see the histopathological slice that we already talked about, but I just wanted to show how smooth it is that you actually go in and pan around, for example, and that you can really see how it's loading the chunks. For the ones of you that knows how these histopathological slices are working, it's very different to how we, for example, show the dental imaging or the classical radiological imaging. So it's really nice how this is solved here in this, let's call it version 1.0, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff coming in the future. And what you please should keep in mind in the back of your head, I'm currently showing this from Dell XPS notebook with a Snapdragon, so with the ARM processor, right? So I'm not here on the highest end machine. This is really a hardcore mobile notebook without a dedicated GPU or something like this. And you see, it's fairly good to watch it here like this. So I think this is an interesting thing. Okay. And the next things I want to show you are a lot in the area of classical radiology that you can see here. There are actually a few changes that Raimundas already mentioned. So one thing that I really like is that when you go into this NPR mode, that you now have the possibility basically to go into the orthogonal mode, and you can see here down below you have 3 different viewports that open immediately, right? And this is a classical viewport that you want basically when a study first comes in, and sometimes you have it in the clinic that the CT machine is only rendering like the first the first images, and you have, for example, in the emergency room something, and then you only receive the first images. Then you click here, and you really have in the very first time you have all the information that you need. So this is something that is really, really nice that you have it here. And what he also talked about is that you have the now the pixel interpolation, and you can change it. Of course, this will change not only the way the image appears, it will also change the way that you measure, for example, specific Hounsfield units. So in case that you have, for example, a customer that is almost on a research level, I think it's only important for them that they are aware that the setting is there, and that they should define like a common ground for everybody. But like Raimundas said, it's stored in the local storage. But in the end, it could theoretically happen at a customer that different radiologists or different medical staff that is looking at the images have different pixel interpolations activated, right? So this is just a small hint. It's not important for you. You can also see it as a feature, but this is something I would make the customers aware if they are asking, right? What this new feature means, that hey, all these interpolations techniques have their ups and downs, but please make sure if you're doing this institutional wide or organizational wide that you just have a common ground on what to start with, right? But as Raimundas already said, this is also possible to do it within the settings that you have basically a common ground. One thing I want to show you, but for this we go actually into a bit thinner slice, which I think turned out really, really great, is the spine labeling. Raimundas unfortunately mentioned it only briefly. I think it's really great work that you did here, on par with Sectra, if I'm so free to speak. So if you reconstruct here, for example, the sagittal view of the CT, and you go into the measurements and perform here the spine labeling, and I'll do it right here, ascending L5, that's correct. And we go now here through the spine. I'm not doing all the spine, right? Just a few. But if you scroll here through, you can now see it actually on multiple images, right, of this whole series. And this is super important because you don't only want like one image and then be on here, because it's a fairly large study, as you can see, almost 700 images. But the really nice thing is if I go now, for example, into the other orientations, I can also see my annotations, right? So if I have, for example, a tumor or metastasis somewhere here around the belly, and I don't have a proper region of orientation, so I could say right in front of the left kidney and so on, I could also say, yeah, on the height of L1, right? And you have an immediate point of orientation. So I think this is a really, really helpful feature, in my opinion, that you could use. The same thing counts actually for the zoom, or for the link actually of the zoom. So if we go into this missed oblique view, once again, I want to remind you of the machine that I'm currently working on and how performative that is. So previously, it was sometimes for me, honestly, a bit irritating that when you zoomed into a picture in this view, that all the ports zoomed in immediately, right? Because sometimes you want to see a specific vascular system or something like this. You want to investigate without zooming in somewhere further. So I think this is a really nice thing that you can now decide on your own if you want to do that or not. And also that the curved MPR mode is now a bit more explained. So if you go into a curved MPR, you have these instructions down here, this dialog, and also if you select like the drawing polyline, you get immediate instructions, so you know what to do, right? Before this was more kind of an expert or trial and error work. So now you really have like a version how you can do this with immediate instructions, and also with like nice settings down here when you can, for example, modify the MIP, or you know exactly where you are rotating this from. Okay, so much to the CT part that I wanted to show you. So the next nice thing, in my opinion, honestly, that we have besides this curve MPR and spine labeling is that when we go, for example, in an ultrasound study, let me briefly look into my PACS system where I have something for you. Usually when you do like duplex sonography, you can see here when you measure, for example, velocity, you have here this wild scale, right? Where you can look at here different example where you can measure it, for example. But now when you have like this velocity measurement, you can really put in a ROI and know exactly where your measurement is, right? So you don't need to basically take out the ruler somewhere and point, maybe we are here at 40 something. No, you can really take the area of interest, point it there, and you know exactly where you are, right? So this is something that is super important. And if you then are interested and say like, hey, I want to show this immediately to my colleague, you can actually immediately create a Teams meeting, open up Teams and create a new meeting and tell them, hey, look at this cool new velocity feature from MedDream. I want to show you this as well, right? Okay. And the next thing I want to show you, because I think this is also very interesting for for a potential research application that one of your clients could have, is the segmentation or how it actually changed. Because I think the separation between segmentation and annotation is really, really important. And I think this whole concept got just a bit more mature. So, I mean, I'm now drawing around the descending order, right? So that's not maybe the smartest thing to do. But as you can see, really, if you have, for example, a student sitting there that is taking like a tumor or something and want to label it, and you have a study which is not only consisting of like one or two small segmentations, but really, really big segmentational work, then this is really, really helpful to just have an overview for yourself, what you are currently doing and what you want to be working with. Yeah, exactly. So from my perspective, these were actually the most interesting changes, and I think there were a lot of things done, honestly, and I think this was a really, really great update. A lot of things we now didn't go through. I didn't want to show you how we send a study back into the PACS or forward it somewhere, but I think from a medical or clinical perspective, I think that these are the most important changes, and I think we're really on a very good way to cover also like the niche cases, to put it like that, right? If we can now on a user basis already handle something like pixel interpolation or something, we're really deep into the system.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So I think I can go to the questions. Yes, Joshua?
Yes, Renata, you can go.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you both for presentation and for live demonstration. Before the webinar, we got one question containing from two. So I'll share my screen, just a second. I would like to encourage our attendees, if you have some questions, please write them now so I could read them and our speakers could answer. Of course, you can reach directly to your sales account manager or to our support and ask your questions anytime. So a question is, any changes in terms of API access? So URL integration or Viewport API or communication API changes, or it is the same as before, just new functionality inside the viewer?
So no changes to recent integrations or Viewport or communication API. We are just expanding the functionality, the capabilities of these different integrations. So, for example, webpan was expanded, or to do some segmentations things that the users from the system, they can set that the user needs to segment 5 fingers or livers or whatever we want, and the user knows that he needs to segment 3 or 5 or 10 segments. It has names and even colors, so it's easier for future analysis that it always remains in the same color, the same name, and to do analysis for perhaps AI tools.
Okay, thank you, Raimundas, for your answer. I don't see any questions during live webinars. So if we are not getting one, I am using this opportunity to invite our partners to visit MedDream team at the upcoming shows. The closest one is ECRS in London in September, so for ophthalmology. Our MedDream Viewer capabilities for ophthalmology field will be shown here. So after all the vacations, back to the office and back to work. And another one in October, it will be in France. It's the second time for our team there. So last year was great debut. So our team will be again this year in Paris, France in October. And I see we got some questions. So I'm coming back to the questions. What is the printing scale of the ECG?
Good question. So we can print what we see, or we can scale it to the A4 size paper and vertical, horizontal. Yeah.
Okay, so another question came up also. Can the default position of vertebral labels be configured so that they are not placed on the myelon? Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. For example, in examinations related to multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, what they want to know is if that you are not blocking the view, basically, right, of the myelon, where you see, for example, the problems with in a multiple sclerosis or something like this, because you need to see the T2 hyper intense spots. I'm just trying to open another study for you and show it. Let me briefly go in here. So basically, as you create the
Can you share your screen, Josh?
yeah, unfortunately, I restarted the server to configure something, so I have not been able to share that. But as you manually are placing the labels, you basically decide where this is going to happen, right? So it's not like that this is automatically placed, but you decide where you want to place the spine labeling, and as the points go basically backward, you can also place it on the dorsal process, right? So you don't need to block the myelon. Let me briefly show it here in the online demo. It's now pet, but honestly, that doesn't matter. So let me briefly share. If you are in here, and basically the question asked is, when we do a measurement here, for example, like L5, and we start with the labeling, what you can see, or what the concerns of the viewer was, is that you have basically blocked the myelon besides back here, right? You can, of course, just drag these labels to the back, but what you could also just do is to not label basically the vertebra itself, but to label the dorsal process that is going out the posterior. Then you do not have the myelon back. I think we could talk in the future about something to put the label in front rather than in the back. Something you could definitely think about. But honestly, if you have a MS case and you know you definitely want to do the labeling, I would just use the posterior process as an area of confinement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for explanation, Joshua. So if we are not having more questions, I'm going back to showing my screen then. Yeah.
While Renata is
Okay.
sharing, in a month, we are planning to have translations for user manual and UI for German, French, Italian, and Spanish languages, and then we will release 8.9.1 with only the translations.
Yes, thank you, Raimundas. Just a second, I'm going back to the slide. And also, we are going to have new exhibition related to our new release and MedDream supporting pathology. So MedDream team is going in this autumn, in November, to AMP exhibition in USA, Association for Molecular Pathology show. So we are stepping our first steps in pathology, and also this year exhibiting in pathology exhibition. And of course, in the end of the year, RSNA, as every year, MedDream is going to present our functionalities and use in RSNA. So I invite you to contact your sales manager or write us to info@MedDream and book the meeting in forward. And also some news from my side that in the August, on 20th, approximately, we are going to have technical training with our colleague Marius from Integration Department. So make sure you get our newsletters and register for this one. The theme will come up really soon. It's related to MedDream scaling. And also in the August, in September, we are also scheduling a webinar for integrations, this time for our partners MedStosorano from Italy, showing their risk and integrated with our other partners, AI for CMR with AI integration. So news will be soon. Follow our social media and check the newsletters from our side. So thank you everyone for attending. Who registered, everyone will receive in a few days video recording. You could share with your colleagues. Also, it's going to be uploaded as always on the YouTube. Also, you will receive presentation file. So thank you very much for my colleague Raimundas for great presentation, and for our colleague from synava group, Joshua, for live demo part. So thank you all very much. Thank you for attending. Thank you for participating. Thank you for all the team for great work with them, and see you on our next events.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.